Fire 'em up. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Andrew Gosser Show right here on 103.9 WYAB. We are moving and grooving on this Thursday morning, the 5th of February, 2026, and we are streaming on Rumble, and we are streaming on X, and we are streaming on YouTube, and we're streaming on WYAB.com. So if you can't pick up the 50,000 watt blowtorch, we're proud of that, by the way, here at WYAB. Strong signal, strong. None of this beta male stuff. Strong. If you can't pick up the signal, you can always pick us up on the stream. And we appreciate a follow and a like, and even drop a comment. That'd be awesome. I'm on X, Andrew Gosser, AndrewGasser. That's where you can find me on X. And the number today to the show, if you want to be part of it, 601-879-0002. The text line is open at 601-879-5060. And the mission here at the Andrew Gosser Show, it's standard. We are here to equip the saints. Who are the saints? Y'all are the saints. And where there is no guidance, a people fall. But in abundance of counselors, there is victory. Yep. We've got a lot of counselors. And today's show is completely inspired by one of the texters to the show, Brother Carl. He sent me a video, and I get sent so many videos, guys. I really do appreciate it, but some of them are hours and hours long, and I try to watch it at times 2 speed to try to get the gist of it. But I don't always get to watch them all. But Carl sent me one. It was an hour long, and it was really good. And it's going to actually inspire a new segment on the show. I don't know if it'll be on Thursdays because tomorrow is Founding Fathers Friday, and we like that segment. But he sent me a video, and it's from a retired Virginia state delegate, Nick Freitas, not to be confused with Nick Fuentes, but Nick Freitas. Two different people. And it is really, really eye-opening to me. It led me down a 4-hour rabbit hole of show prep, and it made me really start thinking about how we look at our elected representatives and how we view them. We get so fired up and we get so incensed, for lack of better words, to go out there and say, "Why isn't our congressman doing this? Why isn't our congressman doing this?" And it really enlightened me, and not just from that sense, but, how many of us, I mean, we've said it a couple hundred times, Mississippi should be leading the way. We are so conservative. Why aren't we leading the way? And this video kinda encapsulated it, and I'll post it after the show, but that's where the show needs to start, and that's where the show needs to go today, and I'm just grateful and thankful to Carl. So we sit here and we think about what is happening in in our state house right now, what's happening with our bills. And I think about the leadership. And there are some great examples of leadership. And one of the leaders that I really thought of that I thought would, provide some good leadership to a wide audience is Michael Jordan on the basketball court. You would see him, he would come on, he wasn't just leading the bull. He just wasn't leading the game. He just wasn't leading all the officials. He was leading everybody in that building. All eyes were on him, and he was controlling the show. And if any of you watch the NBA, you remember the look and the point Michael would give when he got an assist from John Paxson? He would give that little downward in such intense eyes, and he'd have the point, and he would point, and you'd be like, "Yep, that was me." Or if a player really screwed something up, he had that look. And it's leadership that just people gravitated to. It was natural leadership. If you wanna go to a military leader, I'll go back and roll it back to World War II and my man, General Patton. He people would literally die for him. They'd run through brick walls for him. They marched for days with low food or no food, very minimal rest. He was a natural leader. There was charisma about it. There was something going on there that would just made you want to follow that man. And if you don't like military leadership, how about the Reverend Billy Graham? Preached to billions and billions of people. Billions. People gravitated to him. They weren't even believers or followers. They just wanted to go hear him speak and preach because he had that demeanor about him. He wasn't like a Michael Jordan, all serious. He wasn't rough and gritty like Patton. He had a gentleness about him, a way about him that just made people want to go and see him. And these are the different types of leaders out there that I'm thinking of. And then, of course, for political leaders, we've got that great, and everybody followed him, President Joe Biden. That was a great political leader. He instilled confidence. He instilled intelligence. He was very cognizant, very, very sublime with his comments. Always knew where he was going. Never really tripped up ever, and he was healthy. And that's what I remember about Joe Biden, and with the leadership that he provided to not only the Democrat Party, but the United States of America and the world. He was a great, great guy. Hopefully, you hear the cynicism and the sarcasm because leadership, I feel, is something that perhaps we're lacking a little bit. And when we don't have that good leadership, we start going astray. We're like a rudderless ship. We're going all over the place. Kind of like an Iranian gunboat. They don't know where the heck they're going. All they know is all of a sudden they've got the Marine Corps F-35 flying overhead, and they're like, "Oh, we better straighten up here. We're gonna get bombed into oblivion." And that's a whole 'nother story, the F-35, but I digress. So, we've got all these different political leaders all going in different directions, all under the same party. And we look at Mississippi, and this is where the rabbit hole starts getting really, really deep, ladies and gentlemen. As I pull up my right, there we go. So there's something called the Partisan Voting Index, and this is by Cook's report. Everybody knows that Mississippi is a very conservative state. It's a very conservative state. In fact, it's Republican plus 11. And getting back to what Brother Nick was talking about in his hour video, he goes, "We can't beat up these Republicans who are in a swing district or even a left-wing leaning district, but they're a Republican. We can't get upset with their votes." And for that, I think some of the senators in the US Senate, that woman from Maine comes to mind. She sits there and she has a lot of these moderate votes. But then you look at some of these other Republicans, like the Republican from Kentucky, Mitch McConnell, and you look at what kind of leadership is he providing to the Republican Party? Is he firmly behind the president? I mean, he can pretty much say whatever he wants to say and do whatever he wants to do. And who's going to mess with Mitch McConnell? Couldn't the same thing be said for Senator Roger Wicker and Senator Cindy Hyde Smith? I mean, if they go full right, who are they going to have to answer to? The voters? Are you telling me that if Roger Wicker didn't completely get behind President Trump with his ICE work that he's doing, that Roger Wicker would suffer any voting consequences? He's in a Republican plus 11 state. There's nothing there to worry about. You sit there and you look at Cindy Hyde Smith. Now, she's in an election year, and we pointed this out starting last year when President Trump was getting all his nominees through. Roger Wicker was not quick and out front leading, supporting the nominees, but Cindy Hyde-Smith was. People, Andy, you vote for Cindy Hyde-Smith? Nope, I'm not taking any sides in this. This is just an observation. This is just what I saw. The interaction that Cindy Hyde-Smith had with her constituents, whether that be with the phone calls, with the emails, with the letters, or social media, she was very present. And you juxtapose that compared to Roger Wicker. I'm not saying what Roger Wicker's doing is wrong. He's doing what he knows. But are we getting that conservative leadership when it comes to border issues, when it comes to ICE issues, when it comes to spending and economic issues? I mean, what if Roger Wicker got in the Senate and said, I am not voting for another bill until we get the border wall done? Is he going to pay a political consequence in the state of Mississippi for doing that? That's the kind of political leadership I'm talking about. Texts already starting to come in talking about Cindy Hyde-Smith's opponent. We'll get to that hopefully today. Maybe, maybe not. So we've got this Cook Political Voting Index. And the state of Mississippi is plus 11. But what about our congressmen? What about our state reps? You know, Commissioner Andy Gibson has been doing a really good job, and we are going to talk about some of his posts that he's been putting out on Facebook about different bills that are dying. But we've got some really, really good conservative districts where perhaps those state reps aren't voting as conservative as those constituents would like. Andy, what are you telling us? You're not telling us anything that we don't already know. What I'm trying to show you is that it's really, really difficult to have an impact on Roger Wicker or Cindy Hyde-Smith, but it's a little bit easier on your congressman, and it's even a little bit easier on your state rep or state senator. And we've got the numbers for those. I'm going to give you those numbers when we get back from our first commercial break. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show right here on 103.9 WYAB. We'll be right back.
A flag and a complete flag source on I-55 in Jackson is the place to find it. All sizes for all purposes. And they have the official 250-year celebration flag. Have a look at CompleteFlags.com. That's CompleteFlags.com.
Weekdays 10 to noon in Jacksontown.
Don't go to down.
On WYAB, it's the hottest show around.
Andrew Gosser Show. Hey, Jackson.
Turn it up.
Let your message go.
They're tuned in, you know. Put your business in the spotlight on the Andrew Gosser Show.
Advertise with Andrew. Email info@wyab.com.
Your roof is constantly exposed to the elements, battling dirt, algae, and stains. But with Watkins Construction and Roofing Roof Wash Service, you can keep it looking like new. A proprietary rooficide treatment is EPA approved, safe, and guaranteed to prevent algae from coming back for at least 2 years. No harsh chemicals, no damage, no black streaks. Just a clean, beautiful roof that lasts. Call Watkins Construction and Roofing at 601-966-8233 or visit nomoreroofstains.com today.
Hi, this is Lee Atkins of Home Care Plus in Ridgeland. We are a proud carrier of Abena Premium Incontinence products. Abena has the most absorbency available, making changes and leaks less likely. After 7 years as a seller, I can tell you these products are amazing and worth every penny to quality of life for patient and caregiver. And we ship all incontinence products as well. So please come see us at Home Care Plus in Ridgeland for all the incontinence needs of you or your family member. That's Home Care Plus in Ridgeland.
This Valentine's, guys, it's one stop and you're done. I'm John.
And I'm Corey Ravenstein.
At Juniker Jewelry Company, we have thousands of ways to say, I love you, without you having to say a word.
We are Mississippi's largest fine jeweler with case after case of rings, pendants, earrings, colored gemstone pieces, all at the lowest prices in the state.
Diamond studs from just $195.
Juniker sterling silver pieces start at under $250.
And our signature colored gemstone pendants starting at just $275.
Diamond pendants for under $995 and diamond tennis bracelets for under $2,000.
Maybe it's time for that diamond. Juniker Jewelry Company is Mississippi's direct diamond importer with more loose diamonds and settings than any store in the state.
Guys, it's one-stop shopping and you're done.
This year, this Valentine's, come to Juniker's.
Your one-stop Valentine store.
Juniker Jewelry Company, 1485 Highland Colony Parkway in Madison, and JunikerJewelry.com, Mississippi's direct diamond importer.
At Sunkissed Tan and Wellness on Highway 49 in Flora, we specialize in providing exclusive tanning services and premium beauty products tailored for women. Our mission at Sunkissed is to enhance your natural beauty, offer expert advice, and create a personalized experience. At Sunkissed Tan and Wellness, step into our oasis and let us illuminate your beauty. Ask about our membership program. Find us on Facebook at Sunkissed Tan and Wellness or online at sunkissedtanandwellness.org.
Seeing well plays a big role in helping you read well. That's why it's not a minute too soon for students of all ages to schedule an eye exam with Dr. Bobby C. Pankey and Associates in Clinton and Richland. They can also help you with a great selection of frames, lenses, and contacts, all at affordable prices. See well, read well, do well. For all your back-to-school eye care needs, visit Optical 2000 Clinton and Richland, optical-2000.com.
Stay in touch. Follow Optical 2000 on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. You are back on the Andrew Gosser Show right here on 103.9 WYAB. Chat's heating up. Sarah Adalaka, who is she really? She has not been in Mississippi for too long. Cindy Hyde-Smith has flaws, but is the challenger any better? That's what Dogfish is asking. That's what a lot of people are asking. That's why we have a primary coming up. And that's why we're going to have Spencer Ritchie on the radio show tomorrow. In the first segment, Spencer is the chairman of the Hinds County Republican Party, talking about how we have to run our own elections in Hinds. The Election Commission punted, and if it wasn't for the Hinds County Board of Supervisors, we'd be in a world of hurt. It's a very interesting and tangled web that is weaved inside Hinds County, but I digress. So we were talking about the Political Voting Index, PVI. It gets a lot better. In Mississippi 1, that is Trent Kelly's district, it is a Republican plus 18 district. So when I think about bills that need to get through in the Congress, in the House, it's not just the bills that he's voting on the floor, but how is Trent Kelly voting in committees, the things that he's sponsoring. And, you know, my congressman is Benny Thompson, so that's who I focus on. I can't sit there and focus on every individual congressman, but you could. And that's why we're talking about this. But think about that, Republican plus 18. There is no bill that I can comprehend that Trent Kelly would not have to pay a political price for if he's supporting President Trump. This is just my opinion, but shouldn't Trent Kelly be on the airwaves every day saying we need more ICE, we need more ICE? We support what they're trying to do in northern Mississippi. And don't worry, we're going to talk about the infrastructure and all of that, and it's all going to make sense. I just have to go here before I can get to there. You know what I'm saying? In Mississippi 2, my district, Benny Thompson, the political voting index is Democrat plus 11. Michael Guest, he is got the weakest Republican district in the state of Mississippi. It's only Republican plus 14. I can think of about 190 to 210 other Republicans who would love to have that problem of only a R plus 14 district. Do we not? And I am not bashing Congressman Guest. I'm just saying he's a very influential chairman. He's the chairman of ethics. He got rid of Representative Santos out of New York, and we're still feeling the effects of that. But that was his decision to make. Would any of you out in Rankin County or in the sound of my voice, would you be upset with Michael Guest if he went out there and just started going off on some more of these President Trump's agenda, just saying, look, we need to get this through. We need to take the hammer to this. We need to break some windows and we need to make this happen. Would there be a political price to pay if he did that? Compare that to like a Republican in the state of Illinois, where they're in a D+2 district and somehow they won election. You're not going to expect that person to go out there and take the lead on that. That's where you're going to get more of the nuanced answer, the more of the quote unquote political speak, the jargon. That person's not a rhino. That person's trying to survive politically and keep the narrow majority in the House like we have it. Because if we do lose the House, we can all agree President Trump's going to be impeached yet again. And you're going to have people like that crazy congressman from Michigan leading the charge. It's going to be absolutely diabolical. Let's talk about Brother Mike Easel, Mississippi 4, Republican plus 21 district. I know Mike's a freshman, but man, he is in such a safe position. He should be just going to the hills. I mean, if I was these guys, I not only would I be backing Trump in the agenda like that, I would be fundraising. I know a lot of people don't want to give money to Republicans right now because they're sometimes dissatisfied. But man, if you're making the right votes, you're sponsoring the right decisions, you're making the right votes in the committees, even if you don't, even if some people aren't happy with you, your constituents are, and you can fundraise off of that. You could build the party around you in your neck of the woods. You're a congressman. You're sitting there doing all the right things in DC. You're coming back. You're having town halls. You're doing all the things that you need to do to build up your station inside the House and outside the House, inside of Mississippi, outside of Mississippi, inside the party and out. But this is where things go sideways, ladies and gentlemen. This is where things go sideways. Trent Kelly, his district, R plus 18, has 753,783 voters in the, or citizens in there, American citizens. This is according to 2024 census data. 753,000. Michael Guest in Mississippi 3, there's an estimate here, somewhere between 740 and 750,000, aligned with the state target. And this is 2024 numbers, 740,000 to 750,000. Now, I look at Mike Easel in Mississippi 4, 759,824. Can we just say 760,000? And these are 2024 numbers. Now, this is what's going to really tick some people off. How many people does Benny Thompson represent? 730,000? 725,000? 720,000? 710,000? 700,000? 695,000? What if I told you 2024 numbers, 694,703? Do you see the disparity here? Why are we carving out a district like this that has almost 60,000 less people than Mike Easel and at least 40,000 more or 40,000 less than Michael Guest? 50,000 less than Trent Kelly. Do you see the problem that we have here? Remember, Mississippi as a state in general is Republican plus 11. Who drew this? How did this happen? How did this happen? Where we are disproportionating people out of the Delta into honest and fair representation. I can tell you why. Because I used the map and tried to figure out how to draw this. If we equalize out all the populations inside of our 4 congressional districts, Trent Kelly would be a Republican plus 11 district. Michael Guest would be a Republican plus 9 district. He wouldn't like that too much. Mike Easel would be a Republican plus 14 district. He'd be all right. What would Mississippi 2 be? Republican plus 5? Or, I'm sorry, Democrat plus 5? Democrat plus 3. It would be a swing district for the Democrats, maybe? Lean Democrat, maybe? What if I told you it'd be a Republican plus 3 district? And somehow, this Republican plus 11 state has carved out a district that's a D plus 11. That to me is unconscionable. That to me is incomprehensible. We've talked about it on this program where New England have gotten rid of all of the Republican seats. They've completely gerrymandered it. And here, in as far as I can tell, with the 3 states that I looked by population, they were all relatively close. But not in Mississippi. People are asking me where I got this. I got this from the Cook Political Report. And then I used AI, ladies and gentlemen. I went in there and I just started asking the questions. I pointed it in the right direction, put in the prompts, and off we went. And people don't want you to know this. People, especially the news media and those who are above the political parties, those who are really calling the shots. I'm not saying that they're Republicans. I'm not saying they're Democrats. I'm just saying they are incredibly wealthy and powerful people. And of course, they'll run behind the Voter Rights Act that's under judicial review right now. But to me, this is kind of points out the problem specifically of why we can't have nice things in Mississippi. We draw maps a certain way to carve out certain people. And go look at the political map, the congressional map. Benny Thompson has over almost half the state, and yet he has the smallest population. Something's not right here. Something's not adding up. When we get back, I got a text from Clay Edwards from one of his listeners about the bills, and then we're going to look at what Andy Gibson has posted about the bills and my own personal opinion about what's going on with the bills inside the State House in Jackson. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back.
WYAB.
Fox News commentary with Guy Benson next.
I'm alpine skier Michaela Schifrin. I've won the most World Cup ski races in history. But what does success mean to me? Success means discipline. It's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us. And it's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management firms in the country. If you're looking for success, surround yourself with the people who will get you there. If you're an advisor or investor, choose Stifel, where success meets success.
Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated. Member SIPC and NYSE.
Past performance is no indication of future results. Investing involves risk. Consult a financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
Here's Guy Benson.
Those same voters who vote for Democrats up and down all the time, this is the party that asks the country to give never-ending higher amounts, inexorably growing sums of our hard-earned money to government to do all sorts of new things. Their new plans never cease, and they always cost more money. And if you want to talk about even reducing the rate of increase of the spending, you're a cruel person who wants to see death and destruction and human misery. This is how they argue. This is how they govern. Tax, and they talk about the rich and fairness, and they spend like there's no tomorrow. And they say it's all very important because it's compassionate and very good, and they just care so much. And then when it comes to stopping crime, which is a core function of government, they can't do it, and they get mad when Trump does it.
For more commentary like this, go to foxnewspodcast.com.
It's no secret the Honda and Acura vehicles are some of the best built and most popular vehicles in America. Both Clinton Body Shops are ProFirst certified to repair your Honda or Acura to the high standard of safety and appearance your car was designed to meet. Visit collision.honda.com and watch the videos that explain why it's so important to choose a body shop certified by North American Honda. In Clinton or in Richland, choose Clinton Body Shop. We work for you. We take pride in perfection.
Huddle up, wing lovers, and double your count for less on Wing Tuesdays at Buffalo Wild Wings. When you buy one order of traditional wings, get one for 50% off. No time to dine? Order for delivery and wing it up with a crew at home. Or pick up takeout when you're on the go. Limit one per order, not valid with any other offers. Additional terms and conditions apply. Huddle up for Wing Tuesday at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Our flag was still there. The official 250th celebration flag is available at a complete flag source on I-55 North in Jackson. It's just one way you can show your appreciation for the greatest country on earth. Flags for all occasions. International and state flags too. Flagpole construction available. You can check it out at CompleteFlags.com. A complete flag source, I-55 North in Jackson.
Delicious food and a relaxing atmosphere combine to make the best place for sports fans and foodie fans to watch the game and just hang out. Capitol Grill of Jackson. Of course they've got the games, but food, oh my goodness. Mouth-watering po' boys, fish, steaks, appetizers, and a specialty pizza menu. Kitchen opens at 5 Monday through Thursday and 11 Friday through Sunday. And happy hours are daily at Capitol Grill. Also enjoy the all-new Tuesday night and karaoke on Wednesday and Friday nights from 8 till midnight with DJ Money Ma. Capitol Grill, DeVille Plaza in Jackson.
Burgers, blues, barbecue, the name says it all. At our spots in Madison, downtown Brandon, and Flowood at Dogwood, dive into mouth-watering, award-winning burgers and barbecue like our tender brisket and savory pulled pork that'll have you licking your fingers clean. Our B3 Catering Company can handle any job from 5 to 5,000 people and with 2 food trucks ready for all your special events. Check out the all-new burgersblues.com to view our full menu, order carryout, and delivery by locally owned Take a Break Deliveries.
Yeah. You are tuned into the Andrew Gosser Show right here on 103.9 WYAB. I've got awesome listeners, got awesome texters, and it's funny. Sometimes I wonder, am I really flowing this show out in the right direction? Is it really going the way it needs to go? And then I get a text from one of my listeners. In this case, it was Sister Stacy. She sent me a book, and it's by here. I want to make sure I get the book right. It's And Then I Prayed by Congressman Barry Loudermilk. And it just so happens that I have in the stack of stuff a story on GOP Republican Representative Barry Loudermilk. And for those of you who don't know about Loudermilk, he's definitely one of the more conservative congressmen we have up in Washington, D.C. He's very vocal, not just about the issues, but about his faith. I teach an 8-week course called Biblical Citizenship, and he's featured predominantly in that course. But Stacy, you are not going to like what I'm about to tell you. Georgia GOP Representative Barry Loudermilk to retire, adding to the wave of House exits. Barry Loudermilk becomes at least the 29th Republican to announce plans to not seek re-election at the end of his current term. And the Democrats are going, oh, this is great. This is great. Less Republicans running for re-election means that there's going to be a blue wave. Well, not so fast, my friends. Not so fast. There are a total of 50 U.S. House of Representatives, Congress critters, who are not running for re-election. And the best estimates we can get from Gronk, 21 Democrats and 29 Republicans. Now, you might say, oh, well, the Republicans are losing because more of them are quitting. Could it be? Or could it be that we are a more educated voting electorate and that we're getting wise, and some people just don't want to go through the grind anymore, but others realize that their gig is up? And I'm going to post it after 1 o'clock today, the Nick Priedes video on my X account, and I'll even put it on my Facebook account. I don't like using the F word on radio too much, but every once in a while, a F word slips. Facebook comes out. It happens, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a total bad thing, people. But you have 21 Democrats and 29 Republicans leaving the House. This is great news, ladies and gentlemen. The more people we can get out of Congress and the more fresh bodies we can bring into Congress, this is a win-win-win. And don't forget, we've already had a lot of Republicans who have stepped down, like MGD, Majority Taylor Greene, or whatever her name is, MTG. There's already a much more conservative person going in there. Although I could make the argument that she was good until she wasn't. This is the kind of thing that's going on. And it's why it's so critical that shows like this one that aren't necessarily as hip and as trendy as other shows are. And we all have our own styles of doing stuff. I could never do what Kim Wade does. Man, the way Kim brings fire at WYAB, like no other. Can't do it like Lindsay does. I can't do it like Clay does. But I can bring you the really nuts and bolts of how the sausage is made in politics by showing you examples and giving you stories of how this is happening. In saying that, Stacy, thank you for that. I want to go to Commissioner Andy Gibson. And of course, you know how the app always resets itself after it closes down, which is shameful. Commissioner Andy Gibson. And I want to just go through some of these posts because he's got a lot of legislative updates. But the one that I want to talk about the most is the one from the other day concerning the ag stuff. And we can talk about them all too. We've got the illegal immigration. We've got the PERS. But the food and farm stuff. Now, the other day, I told you about the app. So if you do not have the app, you can go ahead and download that. I'll link it up again. But here we go. Voluntary Grain Amenity Fund for farmers. Both the House bill and the Senate bill passed, which is good because there's a lot of people who are, quote unquote, buying the grain, but then actually not paying the farmer. The farmer then loses not only his product, but also is lost money. But this is where things start going south, my friends. MAHA bill, labeling dyes and chemical food ingredients. Senate Bill 2395 died in committee. You might be upset with that. You might not be. For me, I'm sitting here thinking, man, that would be a good idea. And of course, it locks out again and sends me right back, so I got to re-scroll to it. Facebook is just terrible, ladies and gentlemen. Almost there. I apologize for that. So we talked about MAHA. How about banning geoengineering and chemtrails? You know, we've had a lot of talk on chemtrails on WYAB. The talk is really starting to pick up about chemtrails. They've banned it in other states. SB 2666 died in committee. SB 2418 passed committee and is on the Senate floor. So it's not all bad, ladies and gentlemen. We might actually have a bill that our Mississippi state senators are going to talk about chemtrails. Now, is there a House bill? I don't think so. But hey, we're making progress. And remember, when it goes to conference, things get put in, things get taken out. It's just how it works. And wouldn't you know it, this stupid phone did it again. If it does it one more time, I'm sorry, Commissioner, I'm just going to have to let you go. Banning our mRNA vaccines in the House. HB 783 and HB 811 both died. So mRNA vaccines, which if you know about them, they should scare the living heck out of you when it starts manipulating not just your RNA, but your DNA. You know, those things are going to pass on to your grandkids or your kids, your grandkids. We had 2 bills to allow the sale of raw milk. And guess what? They both died in committee. Andy Gibson, if you're not following Andy Gibson, by the way, I'm not endorsing anybody on this radio program. WYAB doesn't endorse anybody. But when we get good sources of information, we've got to follow it. We've got to absolutely follow it. And these are just the agriculture and food updates. Andy's got a lot of other ones, and I kind of want to go through them. But if it keeps on doing that, raw milk died. The limiting of wind towers. Guess what? We passed a bill to limit wind towers. I guess that's windmills. Both the House and the Senate passed it. And of course, the fake meat labeling bill passed. A sales tax on agriculture to eliminate the sales tax on agriculture and forestry products, that passed. And, you know, Facebook and Meta can go straight to the pits of hell because it's just being so difficult. But there you go. And by the way, people are texting me. What was the app I was talking about? The ECM legislative roster. I posted it on my X account. I'll repost it when we go to the break here in the next 4 minutes or so. We'll definitely talk about that and get that going and get you on there, because that's where you can find all this stuff. There's no way that any talk radio show host, Clay, can't do it. But I was talking about how Clay had a text. And this was really interesting to me. And to whoever this texter is, shout out to you. So everybody knows about the education bill that passed the House and failed in the Senate. So everyone that voted no on HB 2, they submitted 712 bills. Or I'm sorry, they had 712 bills that died, or 59.7%. If you voted no against HB 2 in the House, 59.7% of the bills failed. Everybody who supported HB 2, 40.3% of their bills failed. Is there causation there? It sort of looks like it, doesn't it? I mean, that's a really big, steep number. And I know that there's going to be statisticians that say, you can make figures look however you want. The truth of the matter is if you voted for it, you had a statistical, almost 20 percentage points more likelihood of your bill passing than failing. And we wonder what we're up against, not just in Washington, but in Jackson. And I'm not getting into this hyperbole of, you know, what the governor says, what the speaker says, what the lieutenant governor says. We're all Mississippians. We all have to work together in this. And that's kind of one of the things I like about some of our politicians who can sit there and say, I am voting yes for this bill, and here's why. And then you're going to call me a bunch of names and bless my heart. And I'll just be like, all right, I get you. I feel you. I truly appreciate the politicians who can sit there and speak with clarity and without emotion on really emotional subjects. This isn't necessarily a strong point of President Trump, by the way. He gets pretty fired up. We can all agree with that. But that's what works for him. I could never pull off what the governor did or what the speaker did or what the lieutenant governor did or some of these other senators. I mean, they just get fired up. And it does no good. How many times have we said a gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word incites anger? And we're definitely not inciting any anger here at the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We'll be right back.
Keep it tuned here to 1039 WYAB.
Your pool should be something you enjoy, not something you fight with. Hi, I'm Darren with Elite Pools. At Elite Pools, we do more than just service. We take care of everything your pool needs, from your routine maintenance to your full repairs, upgrades, and even complete transformations. If your pool needs a little attention or a fresh start, then Elite Pools can bring it back to life. Visit Elite Pools online at elitepoolsms.com. That's elitepoolsms.com. Or give us a call. At Elite Pools, we keep you swimming.
Men, let's talk about low testosterone. Do you suffer from any of these symptoms? Low sex drive, ED. Are you always tired, depressed? You have loss of muscle mass? You're obese? Maybe you have loss of focus and drive? Then you, my friends, may suffer from low testosterone. Let my buddies over at Men's Health in Mississippi, located right there in Madison, check your numbers today. Trust me, she'll thank you for it. I promise. Check them out online at menshealthms.com. That's menshealthms.com. Men's Health Mississippi.
Hi, Kim Wade here. Cork and Door Company has been providing quality residential, garage, and commercial overhead door products to Mississippians for over 50 years. Cork and Door is a supplier of garage door parts and services such as LiftMaster, commercial and residential door operators, as well as Clopay, sectional commercial and residential doors, Asta, commercial sheet and rolling steel doors, and Cornell, rolling steel and shutters, with many in stock for the same-day pickup. Corkanddoor.com. That's corkanddoor.com.
When it comes to protecting what matters most, experience counts. And the Rusty Healy Agency has been serving Madison and the rest of the Jackson Metro for over 35 years. Local agent Landon Thompson is keeping that trusted tradition going strong. As a local independent agent, he's not locked into one provider. The Rusty Healy Agency can shop the top insurance companies to find the best fit for you. And everyone knows that the Rusty Healy Agency and Landon Thompson offer top quality local customer service. Contact Landon today at 601-856-3681.
Venable Glass is your local glass expert, offering residential, automotive, and commercial glass. Venable Glass can do it all. What sets Venable Glass apart from the rest? Unmatched reliability and customer service. Don't forget, tell your insurance company that you want to use Venable Glass. And remember, you do have a choice. Let Venable Glass work hard to earn your business. Call Venable's Ridgeland or Brandon locations today for a free estimate or visit venableglass.com.
Grizz Nation, your Memphis Grizzlies season is in full swing at FedEx Forum, and there's nothing like being there to cheer on your team. Grab your tickets and bring your energy to the electric atmosphere of a Grizz game. Tickets are always available online at grizzlies.com/tickets or in person at the FedEx Forum box office in Memphis.
This is Jack Hoffman. For nearly 31 years, Tico Steakhouse has been a staple of fine dining in Jackson, Mississippi. Dad has long since desired for me to come work alongside him. And now that I'm here, I would like to invite you to come experience our family tradition of our hospitality, sizzling steaks, and healthy poured beverages. Our dining rooms are open and we are taking reservations. Our private rooms are also available along with takeout. Call today or stop in and experience Tico's in the second generation.
Tico's Steakhouse, East County Lime Road in Ridgeland, 601-956-1030.
Have you thought about the cost of long-term care? In Mississippi, a home health aide can cost over $57,000 a year, and a private nursing home room can exceed $109,000 annually. Hi, my name is Cressley Pierce at Pierce Professional Agency. Long-term care insurance may help protect your savings and give you more options and peace of mind as you age. Learn how planning ahead could save you money and stress. Find me, Cressley Pierce, online today at MadisonPlans.com. That's MadisonPlans.com.
Yeah, we are back on the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB, moving and grooving. Texts are coming in. People are asking where I found all of this. When I watched the video from Brother Carl, I just went into Grok and I started asking questions. Now, I do pay a monthly subscription for Grok, but I find it completely more reliable than any search engine that's out there. And that's part of the whole big engineering, not mind control, but mass formation psychosis type of stuff, where you can do a search for something in Google, and then I'll put it into Grok and get completely two different answers. And what I really like about Grok is that it sources everything out. So let's say, Grok, where did you get this number? It'll list all of its sources, and then I can go click on it. It's a much more refined search engine, and I like that. And I'll tell you what, if you're not using AI to find out certain things about your political officials, you might be missing something. I'm not sitting here trying to cause any hate and discontent, but we're always told to do our own research. And speaking of research, we still have to get into the ICE issue up in northern Mississippi. We're going to do that. We also got to talk about all the infrastructure that's coming in with these AI data centers and what Elon Musk is saying about that. Because I'm telling you this, ladies and gentlemen, things are going to be rapidly developing and reiterating themselves so quickly. What is state of the art today in 2 or 3 years will not be state of the art. And we're grateful and thankful for the investment. But sometimes people who are seeing a pattern don't realize that the pattern can be turned up on its head in just the blink of an eye. Russ Letourneau had an awesome post, and it was really good because it was on his personal page, not on the Magnolia Tribune, and we appreciate the Magnolia Tribune. But he was talking about there's a tremendous danger in treating the church to achieving a political agenda, and Russ could not be more right. People who sit there and wave their Christianity around, they're like, Andy, you're being kind of hypocritical, aren't you? Nope. I don't want the church out of the public square and at the city gates. I want it in it. But I want men and women who are actually going to toe the line and not sell themselves out for 30 pieces of silver. We don't need any more Judases. We've experienced enough of that in our lifetime. And, it gets all back to this thing. All conservatives, we don't have to agree on everything, but we don't have to be absolute jerks towards each other either. And I'm not sure if that's just part of this whole new way of thinking, whether it's this group of young adults who have grown up not in the forests or on the lake or running around outside, but on their cellular devices and their iPads. They don't have kindness. They don't have respect. They don't have manners. They're very matter of fact. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show right here on 103.9 WYAB. In the next hour, we'll hit it again. We'll be right back.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Steve Kathan. Authorities in Arizona plan to publicly update the investigation into Nancy Guthrie's disappearance in about an hour. Last night, daughter Savannah Guthrie and her siblings asked for proof of life from anyone who might have abducted the 84-year-old woman. CBS's Andres Gutierrez is in Tucson.
Investigators were back out there yesterday afternoon with canines combing through the home, as well as documenting some other evidence that may have missed the first time around. And that is because there may have been a tip or a lead that may have drawn them back to the home to go and recover additional pieces of information.
New development today is the last U.S.-Russia nuclear arms agreement is expiring.
The U.S. has announced that it's going to reestablish direct military-to-military talks with the Russians, which the U.S. halted just before Russia invaded Ukraine. Now, these kinds of high-level and consistent contacts are meant to avoid any conflicts or misunderstandings about military actions.
That's CBS News contributor Beth Noble. The White House says more will be revealed later today about President Trump's online medication marketplace. Trump spent part of the morning at the National Prayer Breakfast.
The president announced May 17th will be a day of prayer on the National Mall.
We're going to rededicate America as one nation under God.
Trump also announced
The Department of Education is officially issuing its new guidance to protect the right to prayer in our public schools. That's a big deal.
the president called the protesters who disrupted a church service in Minnesota bad people. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
In Mississippi and Tennessee, CBS's Katie Weiss reports tens of thousands who still don't have power days after a strong storm may need patience lasting into next week.
For a lot of people, the power companies are not wanting to give as many estimates. Some of the smaller power companies are being very transparent with their customers, explaining, look, it might be up to another 7 to 10 days.
There's an investigation in Arizona where a public safety helicopter crashed while responding to a shooting involving police. KPHO TV reporter Gibby Parra.
While they were assisting this active shooter situation here in Flagstaff involving the Flagstaff police and law enforcement here in the area, that's when that helicopter ranger went down, unfortunately killing both the pilot and the paramedic that were on board.
The government says job openings fell to the lowest level in more than 5 years, 6.5 million. Wall Street, right now the Dow is down 385 points. The S&P is down 54. This is CBS News.
Follow and listen to the official 48 Hours After Show post-mortem on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-990-3434. That's 800-990-3434. 800-990-3434.
News brought to you this hour by Lee's Old Country Store, Antiques and Collectibles on Highway 22 in Flora. Stop in for new and vintage finds, plus homemade goodies and gifts.
Easing the suffering of thousands of people. A mostly sunny afternoon with a high at 48. A mostly clear night with a low at 35. A warm-up, a substantial one for Friday with a high at 64 and sunny. 61 Saturday, 71 Sunday, and sunny all weekend. You've got news on 103.9 WYAB. I'm Chris Davis. 3 more people have died as a direct result of the winter storm in Mississippi, says MEMA, and the total number is now 28. In D.C., some attention is being brought by Mississippi's senators.
I, along with fellow members of the Mississippi Congressional Delegation, strongly support Governor Reeves' request for a major disaster declaration.
Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith and Roger Wicker both gave speeches about the storm's damage and devastation and some of the recovery efforts. No ICE detention facility in Byhalia, implores Senator Wicker in a letter to Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. It has been planned for a few weeks now in North Mississippi, but Wicker says he can't support it because it might mess with some of the economic projects going on there, and the area around the proposed site doesn't have the needed infrastructure. Meanwhile, the infrastructure here in central Mississippi is on the minds of state senators who passed a bill that, if it becomes law, would provide enough money for the widening of Interstate 55 in Madison County from Highway 463 to Gluckstadt Road. The smoke rose high above Northside Drive Wednesday afternoon as school let out. A house was burning near Meadow Ridge Drive, and the Jackson Fire Department says they got the fire out, but have not yet been able to determine the cause. Everyone was able to make it out. More news in 1 hour on 103.9 WYAB. I'm Chris Davis.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are the individual.
Fire them up. Fire them up. Yep. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show right here on 103.9 WYAB. We've got our 50,000 watt blowtorch moving and grooving. Cold weather's not going to stop us. We're also streaming on Rumble. We're also streaming on X. We're also streaming on YouTube. And we're also streaming at WYAB.com, the mothership. So if you can't pick up the signal for whatever reason, please follow us, like our stream, share it out there. Let's get the word out there. You can follow me at Andrew Gosser, ANDREWGASSER on X, and we appreciate that. Appreciate all the texts coming in, 601-879-5060. Or if you want to be brave and call, you can do that too, 601-879-0002. And the mission here at the Andrew Gosser Show is standard. We are here to equip the saints. Who are the saints? Y'all are the saints. Some of you get it, some of you don't. But if you don't get it yet, just keep listening and we'll get you there. Where there is no guidance, the people fail. But in an abundance of counselors, there is victory. The more that we all huddle up together as a team and get on the same sheet of music, get our game plan going and all pushing in the right direction, life is good. But when we're all scattered and we're all going and out and doing our own thing on our own individual programs, not wanting to be a team player, you're wanting to be an individual. You don't want to be big part of something bigger than just yourself. You got to be the sunshine. You got to be the star. Everybody's got to look at you. It's all about you. It's not about the team. Well, then you fail. I might have said that a time or two back in my military days. Dogfish, before we get going, I've got to read what Dogfish wrote. Now that the Epstein evidence has been released, the news covers a kidnapping event, always looking for a shiny new object for distraction. Yep, I was thinking the same thing. I've been thinking that for the last few days, but I wanted to give it time. And, you know, how many prosecutions do we have in the Epstein files going on right now? I think the counter is at 0, if I'm not mistaken. And that's not good. And, you know, we've got somebody who has sent a letter, and whether this be about Minnesota or the Epstein files, we've sent a letter.
Rape, homicide, manslaughter. That's who they're trying to protect in Minnesota. I do not understand these people. We sent Governor Walz a very strong letter today.
Strong letter.
We had been working on this letter. We got it out saying that he better support President Trump. He better support the men and women in law enforcement.
That's enough. That's what we think about letters. But you know who else sent a letter? Senator Roger Wicker sent a letter opposing the ICE facility in northern Mississippi. And I know that there's a lot of group texts going around with a lot of group think. And just like my old commander used to tell me, he was my commander. I didn't have the boss of him. He was the boss of me, but he's my commander. Sponge, I've got you in the room to tell me who's lying to me. That's your only job. That was at the commander staff meeting. It was glorious. I was the only captain in there, a bunch of lieutenant colonels and colonels. And I just sat in the corner and observed. It was a beautiful and glorious thing. General, this person over here isn't actually being straightforward with you. I got that too. We'll go look at that. And lo and behold, change of command. Actually, not a change of command, assumption of command. You know. I strongly oppose DHS's proposed plan to turn a warehouse in Bahia, Mississippi into an ICE detention center. I'm all for immigration enforcement, but the site was meant for economic development and job creation. We cannot suddenly flood Bahia with an influx of up to 10,000 detainees. Well, the leaked memo said 8,500, but we'll give you 10,000 because what's 1,500 between government friends? But this is what I want to say. It is in northern Mississippi, and it would actually take a lot more illegal immigrants from Tennessee in the Memphis area. But that's where the population center is. And it's not like DHS is not going to reimburse us for that. That's the first thing. They were talking about medical resources being strained. Well, do you think that we can use some of that DHS money to improve the infrastructure for our medical facilities, for our power grid, for whatever it might be. Right now, it's an empty warehouse, not doing nothing. This isn't going to be a permanent facility. This is going to be like an alligator Alcatraz. You see the difference between Florida and Mississippi. Say what you want about Ron DeSantis, and I vehemently opposed him when he was running against President Trump. But man, that dude as a governor, he's a straight up gangster. He's doing a great job. And you know what? We're going to get paid to go ahead and process those illegal immigrants and get them out. And the infrastructure, to me, is not that big of a deal. It really isn't. I think it is a red herring. I think this is more of the NIMBY, not in my backyard kind of thing. And you look at the population center of where that is in DeSoto County, I believe, right in proximity to Memphis. There are roughly 2 million people around in that area. And it's got a decent airport. We've got a decent airport here in Jackson. But if you look at the population to put 8,500 detainees in Jackson, it's a great idea. But there's no, I mean, that's like 3% of the population of Hinds County. The population density is just not the same. It just logistically doesn't make sense. Now, if they want to build one in Bahia and put one in Jackson too, hey, I'm all for it. Use some of that money to clean up some of Jackson. And again, what it's actually costing Mississippi more street cred by coming out against the ICE facility in Bahia than it is if we were all in gangbusters for it. Again, we are a Republican plus 11 voter index. So I don't understand the logic here. The only thing I can think of is maybe they're worried about the protesters showing up, the rent-a-mob, and there's more and more uncovering with that. We can't uncover and talk about the billions and billions of dollars that's being pumped into these left-wing protests in Minnesota and other places, but we can worry about a morning talk show radio host's mother being kidnapped. Not saying that that's not a good thing, and I don't wish that on anybody. But what are we focusing on here as a nation? Are we focusing on the things that are destroying our republic and our nation? Or are we just looking for the next click? The story du jour. Well, Andy, we just don't want to focus on the negative. Well, I think a kidnapping's pretty negative. I'm so sick and tired of Mockingbird and the mass formation psychosis. And I know so many of you can see it. And as we point stuff out to people, they start to get it too. What can we distract you with now? Oh, the ICE facility not working. Let's talk about the votes that are going down in the state house and state senate. Let's talk about Chuck Schumer calling voter ID Jim Crow. I've got something for good old Chuck Schumer here too. In the next segment, I think is when I'll break that up. But it's whatever they can do to take our eyes off the focus of what we need to be focusing on, which is our nation, getting the dark money out of there. And by the way, if you think that Mississippi is free and clear of dark money, oh my goodness. It just, I spend about an hour a day just looking at certain things, and I just sit there and hit the record button on my YouTube app and sit there and just document it all. You can't see it because it's not public. But my goodness, the dark money that flows into this. And when you see it, you're going to be like, I like this person. You know, maybe we should all gather at the Capitol and say thank you to ICE. Or maybe we should all go, man, what was that? There's a story. I got it on Ground News. I know I've got it on Ground News. Give me just a second here. Republican senator opposes planned ICE detention center in Mississippi. ICE spokesman responded to Republican Senator Roger Wicker opposes a planned Immigration and Customs Enforcement detention center in Bahia, Mississippi, citing concerns over economic impact and strain on local resources. It's not like I said, we're not going to do that. But you want to know who else is supporting Roger Wicker's decision? If you had to guess, who else is supporting Roger Wicker's decision? Mississippi Today headline: Senator Wicker writes to Christine Noem opposing feared ICE warehouse in Bahia. A letter sent Tuesday by Senator Roger Wicker to the Secretary of Homeland Security lent credibility to residents' fears that the federal officials were planning to buy Bahia, Mississippi warehouse to convert it to a massive immigration detention center. Again, this isn't going to be something that's going to be there for 6 years. This isn't building a jail. This is getting these people out of our country who don't belong here. This temporary immigrant status that people from Haiti have been here for over 15 years since the earthquake hit. Man, I can remember being on active duty and sending C5s and C17s down to Haiti to help line up all the aid that we were doing and helping those people get back on their feet. America was really the only one. I remember sending down FEMA teams who recovered bodies and rescued a bunch of people. I know a couple of them personally. They're dear friends. This is not the same thing. You've got the road infrastructure. You've got the medical facilities there. You've got everything you need to humanely move these people in and move these people out and get them along their way. And we need to support that. And the one thing is the left is always out protesting because they're getting paid. And what are we on the right doing? Shout out to the blue collar crew. It's a little bit better day today than it was yesterday. We're out there working, making that dollar, busting our behinds. We don't get to take days off like the rainbow supremacy warriors. We have to go to work. We have to show up. Farmers, when I know it got cold that other day. I was out there. It was freezing. Cows didn't care. Sheep didn't care. Chickens didn't care. Dogfish on this DHS facility. Let's use that DHS facility. Take their money and say thank you. It's not a permanent gig. Let them have the Metropolitan Mall too, Metro Center Mall too. That'd be great. You could probably, could you really run 8,500 people through it all the time? I don't think we would have the throughput. But I do think that it would be good to have something here in Jackson. And I think you're going to start seeing more stepped up ICE patrols. I've got a medical appointment tomorrow, and I'm really interested to see what the check-in screen says. I'm really interested to see what is all going on there. I've got my suspicions, and I'll definitely report back tomorrow because it's early in the morning, so I won't miss the show. Wouldn't leave you hanging on a Founding Fathers Friday. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show right here on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back.
There's a new Pew Research poll that 95% of Republicans, but also 71% of Democrats like this idea. So why do you not?
It's Jim Crow 2.0. And I called it Jim Crow 2.0, and the right wing went nuts all over the internet. That's because they know it's true. What they're trying to do here is the same thing that was done in the South for decades to prevent people of color from.
He needs an ID.
Oh, you better be right. Hold on. I got my driver's license. Here you go.
Today. Hi, this is Lee Atkins of Home
Just got a little bit of show prep in there for the next segment. Hopefully you all enjoyed it.
Products. Abena has the most absorbency available, making changes and leaks less likely. After 7 years as a seller, I can tell you these products are amazing and worth every penny to quality of life for patient and caregiver. And we ship all incontinence products as well. So please come see us at Home Care Plus in Ridgeland for all the incontinence needs of you or your family member. That's Home Care Plus in Ridgeland.
Broad Street King Cakes, pass that plate. Broad Street King Cakes taste so great. From Jackson Town to every state, bestkingcake.com, don't wait. Lines out the doorway, laughter in the air, hidden little baby waiting in there somewhere. From now till Mardi Gras, you know where to be. Or click that link and make your kitchen Bourbon Street. Broad Street King Cakes, pass that plate. Broad Street King Cakes taste so great. From Jackson Town to every state, bestkingcake.com, don't wait.
When it's time to get serious about work-ready equipment, come see me, Noah Sullivan, at H&H Chief Sales in Carthage. From rugged Big Tex trailers to durable CM and Legend X truck beds, H&H has what your truck needs to work harder and last longer. For the field, H&H carries reliable ag equipment from Salford, New Leader, and Chandler. Visit H&H Chief Sales in Carthage today or anytime at hhchiefsales.com. H&H, quality equipment, knowledgeable service, and solutions that work as hard as you do.
Since 2012, Brentech Solutions has been keeping Central Mississippi businesses connected and protected. From secure data backup and cloud services with Synology to reliable network design and maintenance, servers, and business Wi-Fi, Brentech truly does it all. Brentech is your Ring Pro partner and smart home automation solutions provider. Brentech can handle Microsoft 365 support and even Starlink. Visit brentech.ms. That's brentech.ms. IT solutions that work.
Oh, yeah. It's the dulcet tones of the Andrew Gosser Show. And this was not even in my show prep as we were working through one of the stories in the last segment. Jim Crow popped up on my timeline. Got to figure out what's going on there. The GOP is in full push mode for the SAVE Act. You know, Roger Wicker, Cindy Hyde-Smith, you know, instead of worrying about this ICE facility that, you know, your Republican plus 11 state is undoubtedly for, you could be saying, we're not going to support one bill. We're going to put a hold on all Senate business until we get an up or down vote on the SAVE Act. I'm not saying it's going to pass, but we're going to get an up or down vote. Throw that grenade in there. You know, we always worry about the Democrats filibustering. Let's filibuster them. Anyways, Chuck Schumer was on MS Now /BS Always, and it's pretty interesting what he had to say. Let's listen to what, and you know, not saying that we should always watch BS Always, but hey, here it is.
Jess, there's a new Pew Research poll that 95% of Republicans, but also 71% of Democrats like this idea. So why do you not?
Democrats, I know you're out there listening. Do you like the idea of voter ID? Do you think it's Jim Crow? I'd like to know what you think about that.
It's Jim Crow 2.0. And I called it Jim Crow 2.0, and the right wing went nuts all over the internet, that's because they know it's true. What they're trying to do here is the same thing that was done in the South for decades to prevent people of color from voting.
Do you feel like that, people of color? Because I don't. And I've worked both the primary elections and the general elections with the Hinds County Election Commission. Don't always agree with them, but I've worked it, and I've never seen anybody denied their right to vote as long as they had a proper ID. And I don't know anybody who doesn't have access to go get a proper ID. And again, the standing offer is out there. I, Andrew Gosser, will personally help you go get a ID so you can vote. We got to get it done before the 30 days before the election. But if you've got a problem getting it, I will personally help you. And I don't care what party you're in or anything like that. As long as you are a legal U.S. citizen, we're going to make that happen. And this old cracker here, fear-mongering, trying to incite racial division inside America is shameful. No one wants that.
For instance, if you change, you're a woman who got married and changed your last name, you won't be able to show ID and you'll be discriminated against.
That everybody knows it's a load of BS. If you get married, you go in and take your marriage certificate the next day and boop, there you go. And if it's within that day, the county clerk's right there, you're in their office, you pull out your ID, you go ahead and do the name change, and you can vote right there and get it all done and over with. Now, if you get your name changed, you get married, you get your name changed, and then you don't go ahead and update your voter file, well, that's on you. But what Chuck Schumer is saying is absolutely inconsequential.
If you can't find a birth certificate or a proper ID,
you can go request your birth certificate. It might take you a while to get it. And I do understand that there's some people in the Delta who don't have it. We've worked around that too. You can't get a proper ID. You can get a proper ID. He just wants you to think that you're all stupid. That we're all stupid. We can't go out there and figure out how to get a proper ID. We can. We're not stupid. We're smart. We're intelligent. Heck, if an 8-year-old can use his iPhone to figure out what he wants to eat for breakfast, then we can surely figure out how to get a legal ID. And again, if you are seriously having problems with that, text the show. I'll help you out.
You'll be discriminated against. This is vicious and nasty. And I said to our Republican colleagues, it will not pass the Senate. You will not get a single Democratic vote in the Senate. We're not reviving Jim Crow all over the country.
No one's reviving Jim Crow, and no one wants it. And quite frankly, Senator Schumer, not only should you be ashamed of yourself, but you should be out of the Senate. Now, one of the things I've got to talk about is I always had a place in my heart for my political adversaries, especially the ones that could crack a good joke. I did. I always appreciated it. I don't have any adversaries down here. I get along with everybody. But back in Illinois, there were some really strong-worded Democrats, and we get into it politically, but we could always make each other laugh. And honestly, that's one of the greatest gifts I think that President Obama had, is he could crack a joke and you would laugh, even if you were a Republican. And look at this. Who is this? In 2012, President Barack Obama being asked to show his voter ID. Was it Jim Crow then?
Oh, you're right.
And sorry for blowing your ears out a little bit, but that audio was a little jacked up. But that's the granny saying, I need to see some ID. And he goes up and acts like he's looking for his ID. Oh, I need one of that. Everybody knows that ID, it's not bad. It's actually one of the things that brings us together as Americans. We take pride in our vote. Whether or not we're voting for the same person, that doesn't really matter. We're taking time out of our day to go ahead and get out there and express our political beliefs in our representative republic that was given to us by our founding fathers. It's important. And by the way, if you're not a state that doesn't require ID, I think you're violating the 14th Amendment. That's an actual constitutional violation. So when President Trump says, hey, we need to take over these states, I think we just need to enforce the Constitution and the laws that we have. You know, states can pass whatever laws they want to pass, but if there's a federal override on that, then that's the way it needs to be. Every Mississippian is being disenfranchised by the states of California, Oregon, and Washington, just for starters. Illinois and New York pile onto that. Minnesota, there's another one. Michigan, there's another one. Voter ID is something that is so universal. It's what proves who we are. It proves we're from Mississippi. It proves we're from Illinois. It proves we're from wherever it is that we're from. Oh, you don't have a state ID? You're not legally here? You should get out of here. And that's what really irritates me, and no one will ever go investigate it. But if there's a brave state rep or state senator out there that wants to look into One Voice Jackson and look at all the Guatemalans that they've put into this state and given them the IDs, you're more than welcome to do that. Because that is happening here. And we've had people who've seen it and have offered to come on the air and have come on the air and talked about it. These things aren't controversial. They're not there to divide us. We need to actually do more stuff together. Maybe we should have a voter drive in downtown Jackson and actively go out there and say who doesn't have an ID. I mean, you should get an ID. You need that to get. I mean, yesterday with the bomb scare in Madison, you needed an ID. Was that Jim Crow to pick up your kid? Was that Jim Crow 2.0, Senator Schumer? I think it's actually demonic what he's doing, causing dissension within the population of the United States of America, trying to pit one against the other. It's absolutely demonic. It doesn't matter, Jew nor Gentile. We're all the same in his eyes. Get church back into politics. We wouldn't have a lot of this garbage that we do. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show right here on 103.9. And when we get back, we're going to talk about SpaceX and Elon taking over the data centers. You're listening to WYAB. And we are back at the Andrew Gosser Show right here on 103.9 WYAB. Loving it, loving it. Russ Letourneau talked about him earlier. This coming from Frank Corder. I say his name a lot, but he does a lot of good writing. Siemens Energy investing up to $300 million in new high voltage switchgear facility in Mississippi. The Mississippi Development Authority announced Tuesday that Siemens Energy is investing up to $300 million and creating up to 300 new advanced manufacturing jobs throughout an expansion in Rankin County, people. They're coming to Rankin County. The move is part of the company's $1 billion investment into U.S. manufacturing operations. Trump is putting a lot of building and development back here in the United States instead of in China or overseas. We're reshoring all those jobs. I'm not saying this is reshoring, but it's definitely reshoring is having a positive impact in Mississippi, and we should be grateful for that. Siemens Energy is going to manufacture more high voltage switchgear here in our continued success in the state that will require hiring and training more and more workers, Neil said, which is great. We need more switchers. We need more energy. We're going to need more power because we have all these AI data centers coming into Mississippi. And I think that's great in the short term, but is it going to be great in the long term? I'm not so sure anymore because Uncle Elon once again comes into the room, picks up the chessboard, throws it up against the wall and says, your game is void. And this is why. And again, this has got a space perspective in it, but all of you know, I love space exploration. Was very honored and lucky to be able to help push the Commercial Crew and Cargo Act through. I consider that one of the highlights of my political career. SpaceX has acquired XAI to form the most ambitious vertically integrated innovation engine on and off Earth. With AI, rockets, space-based internet, direct mobile device communication. People don't realize this, but SpaceX has already worked with T-Mobile, and they have direct satellite to phone connectivity now in their new Starlink systems. But I want to go through this because I don't want to make sure that I misspeak on this. This marks not just the next chapter, but the next book in SpaceX and XAI's mission, scaling to make the sentient sun to understand the universe and to extend the light of consciousness to the stars. And this is where it gets really big because SpaceX has their Starship. And for it is 4 times more powerful right now than the space shuttle. The space shuttle, I believe, was basically a 4-meter diameter round vehicle. This is 9 meters round vehicle. The scale is just absolutely huge. And people are saying, Andy, 2 of them blew up on the ground and a couple of them blew up while they're flying on test missions. I can remember, ladies and gentlemen, being in Congressman Posey's office and being laughed out of his office by him and his space staffer, Robert LaBranche, because I said that SpaceX was going to be landing rockets on ships within 2 years. And we did. Where are they now? They got some university. Robert LaBranche is teaching in some university somewhere. People keep underestimating this, but this is what they're going to do. They're going to put an AI. Well, just let me say this. Current advances in AI are dependent on large terrestrial data centers, which require immense amounts of power and cooling. Global electricity demand from AI simply cannot be met with terrestrial solutions, even in the near term, without imposing hardship on communities and the environment. Isn't that what some people are talking about these AI data centers in Madison County are talking about? In the long term, space-based AI is obviously the only way to scale. To harness even a millionth of our sun's energy would require over 1 million times more energy than our civilization currently uses. The only logistical solution is to transport these AI data centers with vast power in space. I mean, space. It is called space for a reason. And he's got the crying emoji. So what they're going to do is just go ahead and put these AI data centers in space on Starship rockets. And then what's that going to do here on Earth? And it goes on, talks about it. The requirement to launch thousands of satellites to orbit is becoming becoming forcing function for the Falcon program, which is the Falcon 9 family of rockets, the Falcon 1, the Falcon 5, which never flew, and the Falcon 9. It's all about scalability. This year, Starship will begin delivering the much more powerful V3 Starlink satellites to orbit, with each launch adding more than 20 times the capacity to the constellation in one flight that the current Falcon launches out of the V2. So the scalability here and the power that's going to happen is going to be absolutely huge. The basic math is that launching 1 million tons per year of satellites generating 100 kilowatts of complete power per ton would add up to more than 100 gigawatts of AI computing power capacity annually, with no ongoing operational or maintenance needs. Think about that. These space-based AI data centers, the only thing that I worry about with them is if we get a Class X solar flare. That would be a bad day for the data centers. But compared, no maintenance. It's all up in the air. It's all up in the orbit. It's going to be a win-win. You think about the AI data centers here on Earth, the maintenance that's going to be required, the cooling, the electrical generation. I am grateful that Mississippi is really trying to push hard on this nuclear stuff. But if they don't go with the smaller, scalable, parallel type of system like Valor's doing, we're going to be in so much trouble. And so when I see things like this, it makes me rethink how we're going to use space and how we're going to use AI. I think it was Clay and I were talking off air, and he goes, "We not even sure how we're going to completely monetize AI yet." I mean, I'm using it to research political stuff and to learn history and to do stuff like that. But how are we going to monetize AI? Because right now, all AI is doing is taking away coding jobs, programming jobs, computer jobs, accounting jobs. A lot of middle class, white collar type of work is being completely absorbed by AI. Those profits are getting passed on to somebody. But how are we actually producing stuff? Listen to this. By using electromagnetic mass driver and lunar manufacturing, it is possible to put 500 to 100 terawatts per year of AI satellites into deep space, meaning the ascent to the Kardashev scale. And that's just, if you don't know what that is how humanity looks at itself and what type of class of civilization. Are we caveman sticks and fire? We're in the computer age right now. We're going into the space age, the digital AI age. And there are people who are thinking about humanity 1,000 years from now, much like the Chinese plan out their wars in hundreds and thousands of years. Same principle here. And I'm just saying that the AI data centers on Earth are going to be something of obsolete really quickly, especially if you think about the Mars or think about the power distribution. And Elon's always got this quote for Mars. And then he signs off this way: "Thank you for everything you have done and will do for the light cone of consciousness." And I can't help but think that, this is where Elon's really putting a lot of his eggs. All of his eggs are going into this basket. All of them are. The SAVE Act continues to be debated right now. The Democrat wish list, Senator Chuck Schumer gave 10 demands that needed to happen before we could go ahead and get the SAVE Act going, and the Department of Homeland Security, the demands that the Democrats are putting on this are absolutely insane. And when I look at this, I don't see any Republicans from Mississippi talking about it. They've got lots of other people, but I haven't heard anything from Senator Wicker or Senator Hyde-Smith lately. And if I'm wrong, I will happily admit I'm wrong. I'm not too proud to do that. I know I'm just rapid firing through the last of these stories, but I want to make sure I get to them. Supreme Court allows new California congressional districts that favor Democrats. For every 10 court cases that go up to the Supreme Court. Trump wins 9, and we lost this one. So be careful what you wish for, Republicans. Includes myself too. I have to put myself in that situation. California is going to effectively get rid of every Republican seat, and I think they've got something like 42 congressional seats in California. We know that there's more than 42% Republicans in California, yet they will have no representation. Does that mean that they don't have to pay their taxes? No taxation without representation? That's pretty brutal. That's pretty brutal. But the Supreme Court came out and said that California's plan, I was mistaken, ladies and gentlemen. California's 52 House seats. Think about that. Almost a quarter of all Democrats come in the U.S. House of Representatives come from California. My goodness gracious. You can't tell me that illegal immigration shouldn't be the number one thing on Republicans' minds. Heck, build 2 of those ICE facilities here in Mississippi and just ship them out from California to here to get them out of the country. Or better yet, just fly them straight out of California. The ruling follows the court's December clearance of Texas's map. We continuing the tit-for-tat redistricting battle. As Justice Samuel Alito noted, both maps sought partisan advantage, highlighting the court's limited role. And shout out to Justice Alito, because that's the way it should have been, to be quite honest with you. It's been legally done in New England all these years. It's going to happen in England. It's going to happen in Illinois. It's going to happen in California. It's happening in England too. They're getting overrun by the Muslims over there. And just adding cue, just as we're getting ready to go to commercial breaks, it's always my main man calling up to try to jump in, but we're not going to do that. We're going to take our commercial break. We will be right back.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on? We're on a commercial break.
Okay, hey, Brother Andrew. Look, I heard you talking about the ICE facilities.
Yep.
Didn't one of our senators or somebody say that they were against an ICE facility in Mississippi?
Wait, can you say that again? I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful. I didn't quite understand.
No. Okay. Well, look, it's JB. Didn't one of our senators say they were not in favor of an ICE facility built in somewhere in Mississippi, North Mississippi, or somewhere?
Yes, Pastor. It was Senator Wicker.
That's right. Okay. And I don't know if you had discussed it earlier, but when you said that, and I've been in and out of this vehicle, I've been in the barber shop, but anyway, when you said that just struck a nerve with me. Okay.
Yeah. Are you for it or against it?
No. I'm for it.
Yep.
I'm for it. It would bring more jobs, and so yes, I'm for it.
Awesome, Pastor. I'll convey. If you want to hop on for the last 15 seconds of the show, you're welcome to. I'll give it to you. But if you want to blast off, you can do that too.
Oh no, that's fine. Oh, and well, no, I won't. But on the other issues, no, our senators are silent about too much.
I agree. The church needs to speak up too.
Yes, that's right. You're so true. So right.
Pastor, you're awesome, man. Thanks for the call.
All right, be blessed, man. I'll listen for the next few minutes.
Yep.
Take care.
Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah, welcome back. Final segment of the Andrew Gosser Show. Pastor PD was calling during the break, wanted to know who the senator was that wasn't supporting ICE. When I told him Roger Wicker, he didn't like it. I'll tell you what, there's a growing theme out there. We're in a conservative state. It's okay to be conservative. We haven't been taken over by the liberal hive mind yet. We need to get out there and let our senators know that we support this. And granted, Roger Wicker isn't up for re-election until 2030, but that's neither here nor there. Real quick, I didn't get a chance to talk about it, but Slotkin, she was one of the Democrats who came out on the illegal orders video. She was invited to come testify to the Justice Department on what she meant about that. It was an invitation, voluntary. And of course, she didn't. This would have been in front of Judge Jean Shapiro. And she decided to do that. Mark Kelly's not going to be so lucky. He's honorably retired for now, Navy captain, but he's going to end up facing that music, and we're looking forward to that. Everybody's like, she needs to be prosecuted too. She can't be. She's not retired. I do not believe that she falls under the Uniform Code of Military Justice like Captain Kelly does. So that's why I think it was a voluntary come over here and talk to me and see what's going on kind of thing. But those gears of justice are grinding slowly. Yep, the prosecution counter on the Epstein files, 0. It'll get there one day, ladies and gentlemen. Brother Junk, I can hear you right now. Give me my pound of flesh. You're pounding the desk. It's all good. It's going to be all right, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, you know what? Valentine's Day is coming up. What you going to do for your spouse? And this is a very special Thursday edition of the Sweet Bee Power segment. But I got to give my wife a shout out because she's always doing stuff. And what really comes to mind for me is this one. She stretches out her hands to the distaff, and her hands grasp the spindle. She extends her hand to the poor, and she stretches out her hands to the needy. Sweet Bee blasted off this morning for another missions trip to Honduras. You want to talk about a lady on fire for God, who is an example, not do as I say, do as I do kind of person. We were talking about leadership in the first hour. She's leading. I'm just trying to hang on, give her the covering that she needs so she can go do that. Men, I'm telling you what, you've got a lady like that, you need to encourage her and put her into the mission field, the field of play, as it were. It's really wonderful and special when you've got your spouse out there going on missions trips and doing stuff, and we need to promote that. This is the kind of behavior we want, not just in our wives, but in our daughters and our sons and our grandkids, in the generations to come and the generations that are here right now. This is how we build. And it's just not going to Honduras, because we do plenty of stuff here in Jackson. But this, I believe, is her third trip to Honduras now. We're getting attached to it. Might have to do a special Andrew Gosser show from Honduras. We'll see you in about 22 hours, everybody. Take care. Be blessed.